Got Harold for you guys. Good.
Harold, going back a few days when you guys went live, how much do you love that opportunity to really hit and get tackled and all that?
Yeah, obviously a great opportunity for us to get better, things like that. And obviously it felt good, finally get some contact back. Especially for me, it's been a long process, the combine, then mini camp, but yeah, feel great.
How's camp going for you? Look good out there.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah. It's going pretty good. We all coming out here just working, just trying to, just keep getting better.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you so far, do you think?
Probably just say learning a new playbook. I definitely say that'd probably be the biggest thing.
Just more complicated or just, I guess, how does it compare to what you guys were doing?
Not really different. It's just, people got different lingo, how they say stuff, how they want stuff, things like that.
Catching passes from these guys, Flacco and Kenny, how's that differ from you from bowling?
Yeah, obviously these guys got a lot of experience, so they know where they want the ball, they know when to throw it. I definitely just say it's a timing thing, definitely on point.
Harold, what's it like to work with Christian Jones? Just what's his coaching style? How does he really help you learn so far?
Yeah, if you know CJ, he a very outgoing person. You can definitely feel his energy. You can tell he loves football, and I kind of just try to pick up after that.
When we talked to Kevin this morning, he said you're right where he expects and wants you to be. Do you feel that you're right where you expect and where you want to be right now at this point in camp?
I'd probably say not. Every day I'm just trying to keep getting better. You just keep getting used to playing in his offense.
When you say you're not where you expect, where are you expected to be, not only in camp but this year? What can you do for this team?
I got high expectations, especially from my last season. So, me personally, I expect to do a lot. That's kind of what I have planned, kind of set for myself.
You need to be in the same position where Miss gave you kind of what's that like?
Yeah, like CJ, they're very outgoing people. Obviously you could tell very experienced guys. So, you can kind of pick his brains on things like that. And, he know the playbook inside and out. So anything I want to ask, I can ask him.
Kind of picking up from his energy, trying to teach some energy like that yourself?
Yeah, most definitely, man. You probably talk to him, hear him scream, you know what I mean? Trying to, be more vocal and things like that, I definitely.
The coach said yesterday that you can line up anywhere. Backfield, front, stout, whatever. Is that what you did at Miami?
Yeah, I did a little bit of everything, so, it's kind of playing along.
Like it?
Yeah, I like it.
We asked tight ends about the blocking part of it all the time. Have you gotten a chance to have to help out on Myles Garrett or anything like that?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah, it's definitely different from college. Obviously y'all all know about Myles Garrett, thing he can do. So, if I keep keep trying to block him, I think it's definitely going to better me when the time comes in the game, slow everything down.
I mean, I've heard guys say, you can see it on film, but until you actually see it in person, feel it, you don't understand it.
Yeah.
Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, you see him on tape, you're like, But then, in the game, when he hikes it, he get up on you, it happens quick. Very quick on his feet, yeah.
Do you enjoy the blocking part of the game?
Yeah, I love everything about football. I'm kind of just a guy, whatever it takes to win. I just like winning.
Good, guys? Cool.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Sir.
What up, what up, what up?
How you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing? Personal space.
Shelby, it looks like you've been getting your hands up on some footballs, especially coupled with Dylan. I mean, is that a point of emphasis for you right now, or how's that going?
Well, back to my Denver days, they've always put an emphasis on, at least if you can see the quarterback's eyes, get your hands up. If you're not going to get the sack, at least make something happen. I didn't even realize they were on Dylan, but, that's just something I've always done. I've led the league a couple times in batted balls, and so it's just something that the more you can do, that's the way I look at it.
Shelby, I don't know if it was the first or second day of practice. You came out, you got almost there, and you said out loud, "Here comes the old man."
Yeah.
So how do you feel 2 weeks in?
I feel like I'm about to be 34. But, honestly, though, I feel good. It's just I enjoy being out here with the guys. I enjoy, that's the thing you love the most is just, like, the team and being around all the guys and putting in that work. Training camp's the time where you're supposed to be bonding with everybody and, like, getting to know all the young guys. But then also, you go out there and you gain respect. You earn that respect. You're watching people run full speed, making plays, and it's a time where you really get close to your teammates. And that's really, I think, the main part. Obviously, you want to get in shape, but this is the main part of training camp is really just building that bond with your teammates.
Shelby, what does the defense have to do to be better overall as a unit than it was last?
I say eliminate the big play. I look at a specific game like that Chargers game. You have a bunch of positive plays, and then you have a couple where it's a big broken play, and they score on those, and that's the difference between winning and losing. So for us to take that next step as a defense and to get back on track, we got to really eliminate the big play, but then also just believe in each other. Go out there, play. It should look like there's 13 guys on the field, even though it's 11. D-line getting out of the stack, running to the ball, linebackers cleaning it up, and just everybody just, playing a part.
Shelby, I'm sure you remember when you were a rookie. As you look at Mason, what do you notice out of him that, he's picked up maybe faster, than the average rookie, and where do you feel like he's at right now?
I think there's a learning curve for anybody that hasn't played this type of defense. Mason's coming from a read defense, and so what I do appreciate about him is he's putting in the work to make this more of a second nature of this coming off the ball, because it takes a lot of work. Coming from a guy like me, I was in a 3-4 for 8-9 years of my career. I come here year 10, and I have to teach myself, the differences and the nuances of this defense. I think Mason's doing a good job staying in the playbook, asking questions, coming out early, getting the extra work, just pretty much just being a sponge and taking everything, in his ear and really just working.
There's sort of been, I guess you can call it a little bit of a youth movement on that defense. Are you sort of embracing being that leader and helping these young guys come along?
Man, I'm young too. Like, you know what I mean? And you got to think about, like, at the end of the day in life, being 33, about to turn 34, that's young. And you know what I mean? So this football stuff ages us, but I just think it's cool because you got to think, I got a daughter about to go to college, and these dudes just got out of college. So it's just it's a full circle moment, but I embrace it though. They keep me young. I love it because I hear music I don't hear all the time, and it's just stuff. It's just little things like that where you appreciate what the young players can bring to the table, and I just think that everybody brings something a little bit unique and a little bit different, and it's all welcome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does it help kind of keep you at least in football years?
Yeah, football years, it keeps me young, and then I'm telling you, like, having an 18-year-old, I'd be listening to stuff and like, bro, what the hell did that come from? But and that's why I just think it's cool because we always talk about it, like me and my wife will, but like it'd be like half these kids are closer to my daughter's age than they are to my age, and so I just think it's just a cool moment where like I can go up there and still kind of be, one of the guys, even though I'm older, and then I got to go home and be dad to someone pretty much the same age.
So she's going to be a freshman this year?
Yeah.
Where?
Fort Hays State. She's playing softball.
What's your name?
Kamaya. Yeah. Watch out for her. She's gonna be cold.
Are you hoping you might be able to introduce her to something she hasn't heard of?
No. That's not the goal. I'm not trying to sit here and here's the thing. It's the coolest part about it is like, especially with my music taste or whatever, I don't really listen to anything new. But then when they show it to me, I'm like, okay, I can rock with this a little bit. And then I'll come in here and I hear it in here. I'm like, see, I heard that before.
Shelby, you're the NFLPA rep.
Am I? I didn't know that.
With all that's going on, do you feel extra discussion, extra questions guys have for for you with all that's going on?
But yeah, like even without everything that's going on, is my job as NFLPA rep of the team to keep the guys informed, have these conversations. Even like I said, even when there's not big things going on with all the stuff happening with the PA, we need to do a better job, I guess, of just keeping that talk going all year round of what's going on with the PA, what's coming up next. And, I do like what it has done because it's made us have to talk more and more with the players about what's going on with the PA. I think that's the most important thing, is just more player involvement and just, really just communication with the everyday player and to keep them, to have a more informed player.
When you look at when Mike Hall gets back and you're in there and Mason's in there, Sam, you guys have a pretty formidable defensive tackle room these days, don't you?
Yeah, I think, everybody brings something different, and I think that's the best part about it. Like, you have guys like Malik, who proven pass rusher, but underrated run stopper in this league, and then you got a guy like Mason, who has a lot to prove in this league, coming in, obviously has a lot behind him, number 5 overall. You got to come in there and prove it, but I just think in our D tackle room, you have guys from all walks of life, guys that, you have first-round picks, you have mid-round picks, you have undrafted guys. You have guys fighting for rosters, and you have guys that are going to be here. So I just think the best thing that we can all do as a D-line room is work hard, push each other, be an open book, be a sponge, and then, celebrate when the next guy does something. My biggest thing I always hype and harp to a lot of the young guys is we're not in competition with one another. The only competition you have is with yourself. And if you keep the main thing, you won't have any problems with all the other stuff. So you got to go out there and just play your game. You can't be worried about what somebody else is doing. You can't be worried about all that stuff. The only thing you can worry about is yourself. Go out there and make little improvements every day. And then, the craziest thing I always try to tell people is, you are auditioning for 31 other teams also. So you have to make sure you put your best foot forward every time you step on that practice field, every time you step onto the game. You got to go out there and do you and be the best you can be.
Obviously, music is a part of youth culture, but so is the language. Having an 18-year-old daughter and being teammates with all these young college guys. Have you heard of the term unk yet?
Unk?
Unk, yeah.
Yeah, they call. Hey, I'm Unk, man. They call me Unk, OG. Big Shell. You know what I mean? Like I embrace it all, but yeah, I've heard Unk, and I just think it's cool because it's more of a sign of respect. You know what I mean? It's all right, you've been here, you've been around. You know what I mean? Hey, go ahead, Unk, do your thing. And so I appreciate it, and I love, this is always the best part of the time of year when you're learning a bunch of new stuff that you had no clue about. You know what I mean?
Last year you were one of the Fathers Club, one of the 30-somethings with multiple kids.
Yeah.
But you've lost most of your club now, right? I mean, you're one of the only ones left.
Yeah, I got my kids over there, just chilling. But yeah, it's that was always the coolest part to me is because I want them to be able to my kids to be able to grow up with other kids that have had this experience and to be around it. So obviously the sad part about losing Obo, losing Jordan Hicks, and losing guys that have kids, but it's more guys coming in, and it's just it's a great experience to be to have kids my kids' age, my oldest is 18, my youngest is 4. And for them to be able to live this life with me, to grow up through this with me, and to be around this, I just think it's nothing I'd rather have because, eventually it's all going to end. And so you just hope that you were able to do enough to leave an impact on their life and to really, set your family up and put your best foot forward. And that's all I try to do every day. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep, no problem.
Who's first?
How's the hamstring?
It's coming along. Just trying to take it a day at a time. Frustrated not being able to, be out there competing, but trying to do my best to listen to what the doctors and trainers are saying and trust everything in the process.
How do you not, you might be tempted to push it. How do you not do that? Go ahead.
They tell me no. I would be out there trying to push through it. More like staying in the pocket and stuff. I try to plead my case, but everyone has a job to do. They're looking out for me, and I appreciate that. But you're also fighting the battle to get out there, so it's tough.
Kenny, how did you for a touchdown on the last play? Did it happen before that or on that?
Yeah, it happened a couple plays before that.
On a run or
run?
I mean, the Browns really like your mobility, and that's part of your game. So, do you feel like when you come back, you're going to be that same guy? Or you're going to have to manage it?
No, I'll have to manage it whenever I'm back, probably a few weeks after, based on the injury and where I'm at. But I think it gives me a great opportunity just to work from the pocket. Find checkdowns. It really improved my game from the pocket. So I think if I look at it with that lens, it could be a real positive.
Is it your target to be ready for the Carolina practice?
I can't say if that's the target or not. I want to be out there. I think there's ways that I could be able to get out there. Really just taking a day at a time.
Ironic that here you are out with hamstring, and then Shador was out today with some arm soreness, and Joe and Dylan had to take all the team reps. Did that seem like kind of an odd practice to have to see it like that?
I don't think so. I think it's next man up, and when you're not in a competition, I think you're losing ground. I think that's just the nature of the business, the nature of the game. So it's great for those two guys to get extra reps, and me and Shador got to get back out there.
Kenny, when you are not able to be out there, what person do you do to still stay involved in the team meeting room, in those meetings, to really just kind of stay in the
Yeah, I just go about it as if I'm practicing, studying the script for the day, and like Tommy says, we're kind of treating each practice like a game plan, getting it the night before, being able to study to go out there and prepare, and then every rep they get, I just get a mental rep behind them. So there's ways to steal it, with some film reps too. I got to do some one-on-ones at the end of the day, which was great, and it felt great doing stuff in the pocket. So a lot of positives, just trying to keep my mind frame there.
How crucial are those mental reps, especially in this scenario?
Yeah, they're everything for me right now. That's all I'm able to get. So, trying to learn from what they do, what went well, what didn't go well. So when I get back out there, I don't make the same mistakes, and I can do the same positive that those guys are doing.
Has your determination to win this starting job, is it exactly the same as it was before this injury?
It is.
What's your mindset?
Yeah, 100% it is. I'm trying to get back out there, as fast as possible. I've never had, a soft tissue injury like this, so really a first-time experience in my career. I felt like I came in great shape, was hitting numbers speed-wise that I've never hit before, so it's frustrating that it happened, but turn the page and just trying to be, as good as I can be when I do return.
How do you think you said you've never had like a soft tissue thing like this before. I know they can be so finicky, and you have to manage them very carefully. Like, has that created any extra pressure or anything like that in terms of the management?
A little bit, because you just can't push it too much, because you could really set yourself back. It's not one of those injuries that you can just go play on and not really think about it as much. So just constant communication with the trainers and really listening to them, because like I said, it's my first time having it. I don't know what to expect going through the process, just really listening to the doctors and the trainers.
Do you feel like this affects something like an injury like that? What is it, treatment?
Treatment? I think, I've been doing stuff pretty much 24/7, like, getting in at like 6:30, stretching, strengthening, ice, stim, some heat before I go out here, stretching. Then a lot of recovery stuff on the back end, some more strengthening. I go home and I have some equipment at home that I can use. So it's really 24/7, just trying to stay on top of it, do the best I can to get back as fast as possible.
Do you feel like this affected the competition, and do you feel like it's been a setback because you had to miss time?
Oh yeah, listen, like I said, if you're not out there, I think it's a setback. You have to be out there playing and competing to win a job, and I fully understand that. That's why I'm pushing to get back, as fast as possible.
And could there possibly be a silver lining? I know you mentioned some of the positives, but could there be a silver lining for you just in terms of what you have to learn mentally, or could this have a
Yeah, I'm happy it happened early in camp, and not 3 or 4 weeks in. So I think that's a positive way to look at it. And like I said, just getting the mental reps, working more from the pocket. So trying to spin in all those positive ways that I could really come out better on the other side of it.
Kind of off of that, is it a positive that you've been in the league now. This is your 4th year. That it happened, you know, you have experience. You've been through this a few years. Then compared to it happened like as a rookie. Is there a difference there?
I would say that too. You know, having experience and having, you know, a lot of game snaps, you know, under my belt, a lot of practice reps under my belt. I think it's definitely better that it happened to a more veteran guy that has a little bit more experience versus a rookie. You know, that would make life even harder as a rookie. But I'm glad I do have that experience I can kind of fall back on.
So you haven't been told when you can go back to team drills?
No, not yet.
In terms of your mobility that we already talked about a little bit, but when you have a hamstring issue as a mobile quarterback, and that's kind of your superpower in this competition, it seems to me, that makes it even trickier than if, say, like Joe suffered a hamstring injury, right?
Joe can move a little bit. Give him some credit. It's like I said, it makes it tougher, but that's it's the game. It's part of the game. So I think working the pocket moving stuff, staying in the pocket, going through reads, hitting checkdowns. I know I have the instinct to create plays outside the pocket, but I just can't do that as soon as I'd like to. Good.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.